Rome, the eternal city, the seat of one of the greatest empires the world has ever known. For centuries, the Roman Empire ruled vast territories, spanning Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Its legions were unstoppable. Its roads connected the ancient world, and its culture influenced civilizations for millennia. But by the 5th century AD, this seemingly invincible empire was in ruins. What caused Rome, the symbol of power and glory, to fall? Was it political corruption, economic collapse, or barbarian invasions? This is the story of how the eternal empire crumbled. At its height, the Roman Empire was a superpower, stretching from Britain in the north to Egypt in the south, and from Spain in the west to Mesopotamia in the east. It controlled millions of people across 3 continents. Rome's success was built on military strength, advanced engineering, and a sophisticated political system. The Roman legions were the backbone of the empire. Disciplined, organized, and equipped with superior weapons, they conquered vast territories and defended Rome's borders. Roads, aqueducts, and monumental structures like the Colosseum showcased the empire's engineering prowess. Meanwhile, the Roman legal system and centralized governance brought order and stability to its vast territories. But no empire lasts forever. Beneath Rome's glory, cracks were beginning to show. The seeds of Rome's fall were planted long before the empire's final collapse. One of the key factors was political corruption and instability. The Roman government, once a well-oiled machine, became a revolving door of emperors. From 235 to 284 AD, a period known as the crisis of the 3rd century, Rome saw over 20 emperors rise and fall in just 50 years. Many were assassinated or overthrown by their own armies. This constant power struggle weakened the central authority of the empire. Instead of focusing on governance and defense, emperors spent their time fighting off rivals and dealing with conspiracies. Corruption became rampant, with officials more interested in enriching themselves than serving the people. As the political system crumbled, so did the trust of the Roman people. Loyalty to the empire faded, and the once unified state began to fracture. While political chaos gripped the empire, its economy was also in serious trouble. Trade, once the lifeblood of Rome, began to decline. The empire relied heavily on trade routes to bring in goods like grain, spices, and silk. But constant wars and invasions disrupted these networks. Rome's economy was further strained by a reliance on slave labor. As the empire stopped expanding, it could no longer acquire new slaves from conquered territories. This led to a labor shortage and reduced productivity. To compensate, emperors imposed heavy taxes on the population. Farmers, merchants, and ordinary citizens were burdened with ever-increasing demands. Many small landowners abandoned their farms, unable to pay the taxes, which led to widespread poverty and famine. Inflation also became a major issue. To fund military campaigns and government expenses, emperors debased the currency, reducing the amount of precious metals in coins. This caused prices to skyrocket and the value of money to plummet, further destabilizing the economy. While internal problems weakened Rome, external threats accelerated its collapse. The Roman Empire faced relentless attacks from barbarian tribes. The Goths, Vandals, Huns, and other groups saw Rome's declining power as an opportunity. In 410 AD, the Visigoths, led by King Alaric, sacked Rome. It was the first time in 800 years that the city had fallen to a foreign enemy. This event sent shockwaves across the empire and symbolized Rome's vulnerability. One of the reasons Rome struggled to defend itself was the decline of its military. The once mighty Roman legions had weakened. Years of political instability meant that resources for training and equipping soldiers were limited. To fill the ranks, Rome began relying on mercenaries, foreign soldiers who had little loyalty to the empire. These mercenaries often turned against their Roman employers, further eroding the empire's strength. Then came the Huns, a fearsome nomadic group led by Attila. Their invasions in the 5th century devastated Roman territories and forced the empire to divert resources to fend off these new threats. Another significant factor in Rome's fall was its division. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian split the empire into two halves: the Western Roman Empire, based in Rome, and the Eastern Roman Empire, based in Constantinople. The idea was to make governing the vast territories more manageable, while the Eastern Empire flourished, becoming what we know as the Byzantine Empire. The Western Empire struggled. Its cities and infrastructure deteriorated, and it became more vulnerable to invasions. The division created a lack of unity, with the two halves often prioritizing their own interests over the empire as a whole. By the late 5th century, the Western Roman Empire was barely holding on. The final blow came in 476 AD, when the Germanic chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus. This marked the official end of the Western Roman Empire. However, Rome's legacy lived on. The Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, continued for another 1,000 years, and the influence of Rome is still seen today in our laws, architecture, and languages. The fall of Rome was not caused by one single event, but by a combination of factors: political corruption, economic decline, military weakness, and relentless barbarian invasions. It serves as a reminder that even the greatest empires can crumble when their foundations weaken. Rome's story is one of rise, glory, and eventual collapse, but its impact on the world remains eternal. As we walk through modern cities, admire grand architecture, or use laws derived from Roman principles, we are reminded of this once great empire. This is the story of Rome, a symbol of both the heights of human achievement and the fragility of power.